Good morning, everyone. My name is Kacie, Gent, and I am currently an associate, soon to be partner as of January 1st, in the Cummings & Lockwood Private Clients Group Greenwich office. Thank you. This morning, I'm going to be talking to you about updates on the federal and state estate and gift tax laws. As most of you know, tax legislation enacted in 2017 set the federal estate and gift tax exemption at $10 million indexed for inflation for 2018 through 2025. For gifts made on or after January 1, 2023, the gift tax exemption will shield from gift tax the first $12,920,000 of taxable gifts made during a donor's lifetime that do not qualify for the annual exclusion. For decedents who die in 2023, the estate tax exemption is currently $12,920,000, reduced by any gift tax exemption used during lifetime. The generation skipping transfer tax exemption, also known as the GST tax, is also $12,920,000 in 2023. The maximum estate, gift, and GST tax rates have been set at 40%. Due to the unpredictability of changes in the estate tax laws, the amount of the exemption that will be available in future years is difficult to predict. However, the current law provides that the exemption will continue to grow pursuant to the inflation index until 2026. Absent further legislation, the estate tax exemption will return to $5 million indexed for inflation in 2026. The 2024 inflation adjustments were announced a few weeks ago. The federal and gift estate tax exemptions will increase to $13,610,000 in 2024. This represents an increase of $690,000 from 2023. The GST exemption will also be $13,160,000 in 2024. The value of gifts made to any person that are not included in the total amount of taxable gifts, also known as annual exclusion gifts, is $18,000 in 2024. This is a $1,000 increase from 2023. The value of gifts made to a non-citizen spouse that are not included in the total amount of taxable gifts for the calendar year 2024 is $185,000. This represents an increase of $10,000. The concept of portability was first introduced in 2010, and the 2012 Tax Act made the concept permanent. Portability allows a surviving spouse to elect to save the deceased spouse's remaining unused federal estate tax exemption for the surviving spouse's future use. Currently, only a few states allow for portability of state estate tax exemptions. Connecticut, New York, and Massachusetts do not. There are several important practice tips to keep in mind regarding portability. State estate tax may be increased by relying solely on portability. Estate planning is needed to prevent such state exemptions from being wasted. For example, Connecticut is a use it or lose it state. So, if the exemption is not used by the first spouse, the exemption is lost completely. This is where your friendly estate planning attorney at Cummings & Lockwood can come in to help and plan around this. Keep in mind that the GST exemption is not portable. It's important to note that the exemption transferred to the surviving spouse under the portability regime is no longer available if that surviving spouse remarries and that new spouse also predeceases the surviving spouse. Last, but certainly not least, the most important rule with respect to portability is that the portability election can only be made by filing a federal estate tax return. This is extremely important to keep in mind, especially for those estates that do not otherwise require a federal return be filed. Thanks to the IRS release of Revenue Procedure 2022-32 last year, a portability-only return may be now filed anytime on or before the 5th anniversary of the decedent's death. As most of you know, Connecticut is the only state that has a gift tax. In 2023, the Connecticut gift tax exemption exempts from tax the first $12,920,000 of taxable gifts made over a donor's lifetime that do not qualify for the annual exclusion. It is scheduled to match the federal exemption moving forward. In 2023, the Connecticut estate tax exemption is also $12,920,000, but this is reduced by any gift tax exemption used during a decedent's lifetime. The Connecticut estate tax exemption is also scheduled to match the federal exemption moving forward. This means that in 2024, the Connecticut gift and estate tax exemptions are set at $13,610,000. The gift and estate tax is a flat rate of 12%. So for decedents dying after January 1, 2023, the New York estate tax exemption is $6,580,000. The adjustment for 2024 has not yet been released. The New York estate tax exemption is effectively phased out for estates that exceed the exemption amount by more than 5%, which is $6,909,000 in 2023. This means that for estates that exceed this amount, the entire estate is subject to the New York estate tax. This is often referred to as the New York estate tax cliff. New York does not have a gift tax. However, gifts made within 3 years of a decedent's date of death are brought back into the estate for determining the New York estate tax. As you will hear in more depth from Jesse, this is often referred to as the clawback. The top New York estate tax rate is 16%. There is proposed legislation to remove the cliff and increase the New York exemption amount, but these bills don't appear to be gaining any traction currently. However, that doesn't mean that there won't be any traction in the future. Just a little bit on Massachusetts. On October 4th, the Massachusetts governor signed a tax relief package into law that retroactively increased the Massachusetts estate tax exemption from $1 million to $2 million for decedents dying on or after January 1, 2023, as well as making changes to how the Massachusetts estate tax is calculated. This is the first time since 2006 that the estate tax exemption was increased. As mentioned, in addition to doubling the estate tax exemption, the tax relief package also changed the way in which the estate tax is calculated. Previously, Massachusetts had an estate tax cliff, similar to New York, where as soon as a decedent's estate was valued at over the Massachusetts exemption of $1 million, the decedent lost the benefit of the entire exemption. The new law, however, gets rid of the Massachusetts estate tax cliff, and now a decedent's estate will benefit from the entire $2 million exemption. So this concludes your 2023-2024 estate and gift tax update.